Shalom, shalom. I do want to start off this lesson by saying all praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH for giving me the opportunity to do this lesson. I do want to give double honors to the elders and Apostle GREATMILLSTONE for teaching the truth by using precepts upon precepts and line upon line. This lesson I do want to get into today is about another video from Canadian Prepper. It talks about alert 72 hours deadline, and that's basically talking about Russia deadline of responding back to Trump of what Trump wants, to peace treaty or else, and other stuff. But within this video, I don't want to talk about that because Canadian Prepper didn't really talk about that information. He more likely talked about how the world is gonna end, and it's one person is basically the only thing that could stop it. All right. And first comment I want to say is that nobody could stop the prophecies of Heavenly Father YAHAWASHI. All right. You could try your best to do peace talks. You could try your best to put a show. You could try the best to prolong the war. But war is going to come to pass because that's what YAHAWASHI wants, to destroy America. He needs that to come to pass so America be ultimately destroyed and he could come and show his power. He wants the whole world to gather themselves up together to see him. So everybody knows who is YAHAWASHI. Everybody knows who had delivered his people. Who is his people? Israel, so-called Negroes like to the American. Who had done it? YAHAWASHI. All right, that's why the war must come to pass no matter what. All right. But a point that he brought out was about how the NATO nations are basically gathering up their military power against Russia. And that was the reason why they're doing it, yes. But ultimately, they're not really going to use all those weapons against Russia, all right? Because they already hate America. Because America be treating them as trash. America been treating them as nothing, putting sanctions on their own allies, all right? And the war, these NATO nations that have been treated like trash, they're not going to join. They're not going to be with America in those days. Our prophecy states how the beast shall hate the whore. War of the beast. The beast talk about the NATO nation. Shall hate who? America. For all the abominable works. They're going to hate America for basically starting the war in the first place. All right. And the reason why World War III starts is because of America. Because America is not trying to accept no peace treaties. America always want to threaten people. America always want to bomb other nations. All right, and America knows Israel is a bad person, but still wants to follow suit with Israel and continuing the conflict that they really didn't need to do. All right, because in reality, America doesn't really need to be in a conflict. In reality, if America had just kept home and stayed silent and just played peace and then broke many treaties as Russia that they had with Russia, none of these wars would have ever happened. If you want to be realistic. All the wars that's happening right now on Earth is because of America making treaties with Russia and other nations and bombing other nations and doing whatever they want. And it's about to bite them back. It's going to come back to hurt them. All right, because very soon, YAHAWASHI is going to put a spear upon these other nations to shoot their nukes, their missiles at America. All right, and there's a prophecy to prove it. Jeremiah 50 verse 14, it says this. Put yourself in array against Babylon, round about. All right. So all the other nations that surround America, they're gonna go against her in those days. All right. Mainly it's talking about Russia and her allies, but ultimately the NATO alliance is gonna do the same thing too. All you that bend the bow, what is the bow talking about? The bow is talking about the nukes. Shoot at her. So they're gonna shoot their nukes at America. Spare no arrows. Basically, don't hold back no arrows, don't hold back no guns, don't hold back nothing. All right, why? For she have sinned against Lord Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI. And that's what's going to come to pass. All right, YAHAWASHI going to put the spear upon these nations that's around about America to shoot at her for her sins. For all the bloodshed of the Israelites, for all the bloodshed of the prophets, for all the bloodshed of the innocent lives that are taken, unrighteous decrees. All right. Ruling in wickedness, lies, deceit. All right, whitewashed scriptures told the whole world that the Most High looked like a hippie. Yahweh looked like a gay man. All right, showed pictures of the Most High being naked and have leprosy skin, doing that finger thing, and saying that's the Most High, that's the only begotten Son. That's blasphemy right there. And who had done that? Esau, Edom. And where did he had done that? He made sure that he promote that in America. America was like the pinnacle area where Esau done all his wickedness. Not all, there's 70 AD or abominable desolation. There's other wickedness he have done, but America is like the capital of Esau, Edom, where they just devise a plan and they execute it. They do it through America. All right, so Yahweh Shema Shah is going to destroy it utterly and make sure their inhabitants and their land that they love so much will never come back up again. All right, Esau, Edom. Ultimately, he's coming for Esau, Edom. Where is Esau, Edom capital at? America. And what's Yahweh Shema Shah going to do? He's going to make sure America is going to be destroyed. And he's going to gather all these nations up for that day. A multitude of nations going to go against America. All right? And I said it multiple times, and once and twice and 3 times, even I count. France is the number one nation that's most likely to do it. France has a nuke, and France is one of the nations that has stated of how they should start relying on America. We should start trying to walk away from America. All right, France is already pushing out that vibration of let's rebel against America. Let's shoot at her. Let's just kill her, because America is out of control. All right, and other nations are listening in. In the NATO alliance, other nations are listening in. Canada is listening in. Mexico is listening in. Well, I don't think Mexico is part of the alliance, but the whole point I'm trying to say is that the other NATO nations, they're hearing what French is saying, and they're considering it. Why? Because prophecy is going to come to pass where they're going to shoot their nukes at America. This is what Yahweh Shema Shai want to happen. He wants America to be utterly destroyed no matter what. And you're going to see in those days multitude of nukes after nukes after nukes hitting this place. All right, there's no, if buts. It's just going to be utterly destroyed. All right. Verse 15, it says this: shout against her round about. She have given her hands, her foundation are fallen, her walls are thrown down. For it is the vengeance of the Lord Yahweh. Take vengeance upon her as she have done, do unto her. Let's set it again. Let's read it again. Verse 15, shout against her around about. So all these nations are going to shout against her. They're going to be basically just killing her. All right. She have given her hands, her foundation are fallen, her walls are thrown down, her defenses are thrown down. That Iron Dome that Trump wants to use is not going to work in those days. All right, and I want to go to the book of Joel chapter 2 because it talks about how the defense system is not going to work. For it is the vengeance of the Lord Yahweh. Take vengeance upon her, as she have done, do unto her. And what did America have done to NATO nations, to other enemy nations? What she have done? She just been doing wild stuff. She been bombing them, putting sanctions on them. That will literally cripple a nation. Putting sanctions on a nation and crippling them to death. She has made them drink strange philosophies that they thought it was good and end up it was bad. And everybody had gone mad because of it. All right, figuratively and literally. All right, some nations are bugged the hell out, and some other nations are pissed off because America had basically taught a philosophy that wasn't good. That was just straight up just death, sodomy, having one woman. All right, being disorderly in your household, the kids being disrespectful to their parents. That's a mindset of America. Isn't that didn't came from no other nations? It came strictly from America. America was the one nation that taught the ideology of you can do anything that you want and have no consequences. Being a hoe is okay. Being a adulterous man is okay. That's not okay. That's just spreading confusion and woes and more woes. But America don't care. It's making them money. So what's going to happen is that the nation is going to realize they don't care and they're going to shoot their nukes. They're going to say, F this place, because this place is full of abominable words, abominable acts. Let's grab book of Joel, like I said, chapter 2. I believe it was verse 11. That's not it. Yep, right here. All right, Joel chapter 2, verse 8. Neither shall one thrust another, All right, and this is describing the nukes, the ICBM missiles, of how a nuke is not gonna basically be disorganized. They're gonna fly in an organized manner coming towards America. All right, Slovakia, neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk everyone in his path, and when they shall fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. What is the sword talking about? The sword is talking about the American defense system, or the Iron Dome that the Iron Dome that Trump want to build. What is that? What is the Iron Dome? Iron Dome is basically when a missile, they use a missile to shoot down another missile. It's like a bullet killing a bullet. That's basically what it is. But in those days, it's not going to work. It's not going to be able to defend. Why? Because this is a vengeance of the Lord YAHAWASHI. He's going to put the spirit upon these. YAHAWASHI is going to put the spirit upon these nukes to be indestructible just so he could destroy America. That's how bad it's going to be. That's why it's not going to work. When they shall fall upon the sword, the defense system, they shall not be wounded. They're not going to be hit. It's not going to work. When those nukes, when those missiles come, defense systems start shooting, trying to shoot the incoming nukes from the sky, it's not gonna wound them. Because the spirit of YAHAWASHI is gonna be in them. It's not gonna wound them. Alright. They shall run to and fro in the city, they shall run upon the walls, they shall climb upon the houses, they shall enter in at the windows like a thief. It's basically talking about the shockwave. The shockwave is gonna basically just run through the cities, destroying everything. All right, if I'm not mistaken, a good example about that is from Exterminator. Our Exterminator, when she was on the fence, she was calling for her kid, saying to run, and the nuke hit, and a shockwave hit her, and it hit the houses and everything. That's basically what the scripture in verse 9 is describing. It's describing the shockwave basically destroying everything in its path. All right, hold on. Actually, a good scripture about that is Jeremiah, going back to 50. 50, let's go back again. Verse 1, it says what? The word of the Lord Yahweh spake against Babylon, against the land of Chaldean by Jeremiah the prophet. No, it's actually verse 51. Verse 51, chapter 51. Salakin, Jeremiah 51, verse 1. Or it says this: Thus said the Lord Yahweh, behold, I'll raise up against Babylon, and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind. All right, what's going to cause a destroying wind? A nuke. All right, verse 2. And will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. And that's what's going to come to pass. They shall be against her round about. Not just Russia that's going to be against her, the NATO alliance too. All that build up that America's doing, that's making NATO nations to build up their military power, is going to end up biting them behind too. That's all part of prophecy. YAHAWASHI put the spirit upon these nations to build up their military power so they could use it against America. YAHAWASHI is basically getting every nation ready to F America up. That's basically what it is. And until America don't release that MOTB, because that's the last prophecy, the RFID chip, as soon as they do that, and they do it for a couple of months, it's over. YAHAWASHI is gonna click the switch, and everybody's gonna go to war. It's gonna be a full throttle event, and America is not going to survive. They could use all the AI in the world. They could try to use AI to ask them how to strategize a perfect plan to defeat Russia. It's not going to work. It's just not going to work. And for you to use the AI to predict a good outcome, you got to know a lot of information, and you got to know basically a lot of scenarios. These scenarios are controlled by YAHAWASHI, so you can't predict the future. You can't say what's gonna happen next, all right, because you don't control it. So it's gonna be a L at the end of the day. And when those nukes come, it's gonna destroy everything in its path, and it's gonna wipe out everything. Joel 2. Let's go back to verse 10. The earth shall quake before them, and the heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Why? Because the mushroom clouds are gonna block the sky. It's gonna be a dark, gloomy day. Joel 2 talks about it in the first 3 scriptures. Verse 11, the Lord Yahawah shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great, for he is strong that executeth his word. For the day of the Lord Yahawah is great and very terrible, and who can abide it? And nobody will. And that's basically what's about to come to pass to America. America's not going to be able to abide in those days. All right, these nations that's gathering up their military power, it's actually it's actually going, what's it gonna call it? It's actually, I keep on forgetting the word I'm trying to say, Slovakia, but it's actually for the destruction of America. It's not for the destruction of Russia, even though it was intended for Russia. It's actually for America. All these ready for war, all these military weapons been getting power is for America. All this is for America. It's gonna bite America ass. Yes, they're gonna fight in the Valley of Jehoshaphat. They're gonna fight in the Middle East. Yes, they're gonna get their judgment, but they're all gonna end up betraying America. They're all gonna end up betraying them. It's part of prophecy. The beast shall hate the horde. They're gonna backstab America. Even Trump. There's a video out. Even Trump saying that, hey, one day these allies are going to betray us. He said so. He said it out of his mouth. So it's not me just trying to spread conspiracy theories. This is just a truth. This is a proven fact at this point. This is what's going to come to pass. And when it comes to pass, you're going to realize that YAHAWASHI was real. Or all you guys listening in that's doubting the word of the prophecies. Because, people be doubting. People be saying, oh, that's not true. That's not going to come to pass. Well, you're going to see my power making it come to pass. You're going to see my power, Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, prove you wrong. You're going to see him. You're going to see him in those days. It seems far-fetched now because you living it up. But in those days, you ain't going to be living it up. That's all I want to get into today. Lord, you edified by this lesson. I do want to give all praises to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH, for giving me the opportunity to do this lesson. I do want to give double honor to the elders and apostle GREATMILLSTONE for teaching the truth by using precepts upon precepts and line upon line. Shalom.